Good afternoon, Team Ramstein. I am Staff Sergeant Phillip Zavala, an instructor from the Ramstein Airman Leadership School. On behalf of the Commandant, Master Sergeant Kendrick Burton, and our host, the Commander, 86th Airlift Wing, Brigadier General Joshua Olson, welcome to the Ramstein Airman Leadership School's virtual graduation ceremony for Class 2021-4. The mission of the Airman Leadership School program is to prepare airmen and guardians to be professional warfighting airmen and space professionals who can supervise and lead Air Force work teams to support the employment of air and space power. The students received 192 hours of comprehensive instruction in 4 outcomes: mission, leadership, problem solving, and Air Force culture. They will be using this knowledge to further our country's vision of democracy, freedom, and peace. We would like to recognize all the directors, commanders, chief master sergeants, first sergeants, supervisors, mentors, family, and friends of our graduates who have extended their support throughout the course. It is your understanding, sacrifice, and patience that has allowed your members to make it thus far. Thank you for viewing today's ceremony. And finally, today's event would not be possible without the sacrifices of the brave airmen who have fallen in combat, those that are currently defending our freedom around the world, and the support of their families. At this time, we will hear a few motivational words from our Commandant, Master Sergeant Kendrick Burton.
Class 2021-4, we have finally come to the end. I know this is the moment that you all have been waiting for. And as you graduate today, I just want to continue to reiterate what you've heard throughout this entire course, is that you now have the keys to greatness. Today, we haven't given you the answers to everything, and that's by design. It's because you have within you the answers to whatever life and the Air Force is going to throw at you. What we have given you is a foundation. We've given you a foundation to know who you are, what type of leader you are, provided you some opportunities to self-reflect on previous leadership, good and bad, and what you are going to do to make sure that you fit one of those categories. And it's our hope that you would be one of those leaders that you wish you had when you were an airman. But that airman life is definitely going to be behind you now. So as you move forward, we'd like to remind you that leadership is not a destination, but it's a journey. And so what are you going to take here today? 1 or 2 things that you've learned here that really impacted you so much that you're going to continue to grow, continue to develop yourself so that you can take care of your airmen. Before you leave, I just want to leave you with the leadership philosophy that I told you about when we first began. Care, being courageous, being adaptable and malleable, being resilient, and engaging with your airmen. Those are the things that I have found to be extremely helpful in my walk as a leader, and it's my hope that you'll be able to take some of those things with you as well. Congratulations, a huge event, a huge milestone in your careers, and we wish you the best here at ALS. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Burton. When the students of Class 2021-4 logged into their Zoom meeting rooms on the 12th of April, they took the first steps on a new path in their Air and Space Force careers as supervisors and non-commissioned officers. Today, we return them to duty, focused and ready for their responsibilities. The mere fact that these 96 air and space professionals are graduating today indicates that they have achieved success. And now, the moment all the students have been waiting for. The diplomas announced today represent 5 weeks of hard work and dedication. The names that you are about to hear belong to the Air and Space Force's newest first-line supervisors. Starting with the Avenger Flight, as each graduate is called, please show your support by commenting below.
I am Technical Sergeant Abraham Polito, the instructor for Avenger Flight, and I am proud to announce our graduates. From the 86th Munitions Squadron, Staff Sergeant Anthony Alt. From the 86th Communications Squadron, Senior Airman Brandon Bedford. From the 86th Airlift Wing Command Post, Staff Sergeant Charity Chavez. From the 569th United States Forces Police Squadron, Senior Airman Joseph Chung. From the 721st Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Alexander Delgado. From the 786th Civil Engineer Squadron, Staff Sergeant Samuel Donoso. From the 603rd Air Operations Center, Senior Airman Connor Hatfield. From Space Delta 4, Detachment 1, OLA, Senior Airman Thomas Latham. From the 86th Communications Squadron, Staff Sergeant Patrick Laurencio. From the 86th Security Forces Squadron, Senior Airman Trevor Lilja. From the 86th Dental Squadron, Senior Airman David McKnight Jr. From the 496th Air Base Squadron, Senior Airman Michael Moss. From the 86th Vehicle Readiness Squadron, Senior Airman John Cuevas Sanders. From the 402nd Intelligence Squadron, Staff Sergeant Jessica Steinley. From the 485th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Jennifer Torres Piña. And from the 86th Munitions Squadron, Senior Airman Kevin Tran. Ladies and gentlemen, Avenger Flight.
I am Technical Sergeant Joshua Venegas, the instructor for Defender Flight, and I am proud to announce our graduates. From the 450th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Leah Boland. From the 603rd Air Communications Squadron, Senior Airman Andy Cho. From the 721st Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Joshua Cummings. From the 1st Combat Communications Squadron, Staff Sergeant Morgan Giacomelli. From the 569th United States Forces Police Squadron, Senior Airman Derek Grant. From the 86th Communications Squadron, Senior Airman Wyndham Howe. From the 86th Logistics Readiness Squadron, Senior Airman Ming Lee. From the 1st Combat Communications Squadron, Staff Sergeant Jacob Marin. From the 86th Security Forces Squadron, Senior Airman Zaid Rimmers. From the 86th Munitions Squadron, Senior Airman Jacob Spracklin. From the 86th Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Emily Spack. From the 86th Airlift Wing, Senior Airman Mary Taylor. From the 86th Civil Engineer Squadron, Staff Sergeant Christopher Thomas. From the 435th Security Forces Squadron, Senior Airman Cody Tubb. From the 435th Contingency Response Squadron, Senior Airman Jacob Waller. From the 693rd Intelligence Support Squadron, Staff Sergeant Jordan Wendt. Ladies and gentlemen, Defender Flight.
I am Technical Sergeant Gregory Foster, the instructor for Freedom Flight, and I am proud to announce our graduates. From the 24th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Joshua Binion. From the 1st Combat Communications Squadron, Staff Sergeant James Ciccone. From the 86th Security Forces Squadron, Senior Airman Quentin Creighton Jr. From the 725th Air Mobility Squadron, Staff Sergeant Josti Figueroa. From the 603rd Air Operations Center, Staff Sergeant Aronisha Hayes. From the 86th Communications Squadron, Senior Airman Bryce Holland. From the 1st Air and Space Communications Squadron, Staff Sergeant Joshua Holsing. From the 86th Operations Support Squadron, Senior Airman Tori Jinks. From the 1st Combat Communications Squadron, Staff Sergeant Brendan Lowe. From the 569th United States Forces Police Squadron, Staff Sergeant Tristan Monsell. From AFM Benelux, Staff Sergeant Nathaniel Monsivais. From the 86th Logistics Readiness Squadron, Senior Airman Nels Newberg. From the 86th Civil Engineer Squadron, Senior Airman Desmond Jaffu. From the 721st Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Narbel Rivera Marrero. From the 86th Operational Medical Readiness Squadron, Staff Sergeant April Van Horn. From the 86th Airlift Wing, Staff Sergeant Katrina Walters. Ladies and gentlemen, Freedom Flight.
I am Staff Sergeant Sierra Engel, the instructor for Guardian Flight, and I am proud to announce our graduates. From the 1st Combat Communications Squadron, Staff Sergeant Melissa Adkins. From the 24th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Vincent Angel. From the 86th Security Forces Squadron, Staff Sergeant Luke Biddle. From the 700th Contracting Squadron, Staff Sergeant Jeffrey Campbell. From the 725th Air Mobility Squadron, Staff Sergeant Walter Cazares. From the 86th Aeromedical Evacuation Squadron, Staff Sergeant Kylie Glover. From the 1st Combat Communications Squadron, Senior Airman Edward Kim. From the Defense Intelligence Agency, Senior Airman Neil Christian Montemea. From the 496 Air Base Squadron, Seaman Santiago Montoya. From the 86th Medical Support Squadron, Staff Sergeant Alexander Lewis Moran. From the 721st Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Staff Sergeant Jonathan Retzlaff. From the 86th Civil Engineer Squadron, Senior Airman Tashim Saunders. From the 86th Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Roberto Teos Carcamo. From the 1st Air and Space Communications Operations Squadron, Senior Airman Gitsada Tongpun. From the 786th Force Support Squadron, Senior Airman Nicholas Towansky. From the 4th Combat Training Squadron, Staff Sergeant Kyle Yalk. Ladies and gentlemen, Guardian Flight.
I am Staff Sergeant Phillip Zavala, the instructor for Sentry Flight, and I am proud to announce our graduates. From the 450th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman John Catlin III. From the 86th Security Forces Squadron, Staff Sergeant Cadero Domino. From the 86th Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Dylan Greco. From the 435th Construction and Training Squadron, Staff Sergeant Joshua Green. From the 569th United States Forces Police Squadron, Staff Sergeant Rabah Harchawi. From the 86th Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Thomas Jarosz. From the 1st Combat Communications Squadron, Staff Sergeant Edward Ojikudu. From the 86th Communications Squadron, Senior Airman Parker Parrott. From the 86th Operations Support Squadron, Senior Airman James Potters. From the 86th Medical Squadron, Senior Airman Carrie Rowland. From the 86th Communications Squadron, Senior Airman Joe Sakine. From the 786th Civil Engineer Squadron, Staff Sergeant Justin Cerna. From the 86th Munitions Squadron, Staff Sergeant Andrea Sedluskas. From the 435th Air Ground Operations Wing, Senior Airman Kelsey Smith. From the 569th United States Forces Police Squadron, Staff Sergeant Taylor Switzer. From the 86th Force Support Squadron, Senior Airman Indigo Vaughn. Ladies and gentlemen, Sentry Flight.
I am Staff Sergeant George Lennon, the instructor for Warrior Flight, and I am proud to announce our graduates. From the 86th Logistics Readiness Squadron, Senior Airman Moises Afanador Santiago. From the 1st Combat Communications Squadron, Sergeant Anthony Arenas. From the 721st Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Gavin Burton. From the 569th United States Forces Police Squadron, Staff Sergeant Anthony Contreras. From the 86th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Garrett David. From the 786th Civil Engineer Squadron, Staff Sergeant Zachary Gaines. From the 86th Maintenance Support Squadron, Senior Airman Adrian Gomez. From the 21st Operational Weather Squadron, Staff Sergeant Evan Haddock. From the 86th Communications Squadron, Specialist Zachary Henry. From the 1st Combat Communications Squadron, Sergeant Sheldon Jones. From the CIO 3B, Staff Sergeant Jacob Madsen. From the 86th Materiel Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Serena Nayuli. From the 86th Operations Support Squadron, Senior Airman Maritza Rivera. From the 86th Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Staff Sergeant Ethan Sorensen. From the 86th Security Forces Squadron, Senior Airman Damon Tillis. From the 450th Intelligence Squadron, Staff Sergeant Andrea Winklereed. Ladies and gentlemen, Warrior Flight.
A big congratulations once again to all of our graduates. Though every graduate has met the objectives, there are those who went above and beyond the normal standards. Several students have excelled in all areas of the curriculum and will now be recognized for their individual achievements. The first award being presented today is the Commandant's Leadership Award. After being evaluated throughout the course, one student from each flight is nominated by their peers based purely on their leadership qualities. This award goes to the student who displayed outstanding leadership in the classroom and beyond. In order to determine the recipient of the award, interviews were conducted by the Commandant with each of the following nominees. Please give them a hearty congratulations as they are announced. From Avenger Flight.
From the 721st Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Alexander Delgado.
From Defender Flight.
From the 86th Communications Squadron, Senior Airman Wyndham Howe.
From Freedom Flight.
From the 86th Airlift Wing, Staff Sergeant Katrina Walters.
From Guardian Flight.
From the 24th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Vincent Angel.
From Sentry Flight. From the 86th Operations Support Squadron, Senior Airman James Potters. From Warrior Flight.
From the 450th Intelligence Squadron, Staff Sergeant Andrea Winklereed.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Commandant's Leadership Award recipient for Class 2021-4 is...
From the 24th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Vincent Angel.
The next award is the Academic Achievement Award. This award is given to the students in the class with the highest academic standing and denotes excellence as a scholar. 5 students have earned this distinction. The first Academic Achievement Award recipient is...
From the 569th United States Forces Police Squadron, Senior Airman Joseph Chung.
The second Academic Achievement Award recipient is...
From the 721st Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Alexander Delgado.
The third Academic Achievement Award recipient is...
From the 86th Communications Squadron, Staff Sergeant Patrick Laurencio.
The fourth Academic Achievement Award recipient is...
From the 402nd Intelligence Squadron, Staff Sergeant Jessica Steinley.
The final Academic Achievement Award recipient is...
From the 485th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman Jennifer Torres Piña.
The next award is the Distinguished Graduate Award. This award recognizes the students who have excelled in all areas of leadership, performance, and academic evaluations, placing them in the top 10% of the class. 9 students have earned this distinction. The first distinguished graduate is...
From the 86th Airlift Wing, Staff Sergeant Katrina Walters.
The second distinguished graduate is...
From the 21st Operational Weather Squadron, Staff Sergeant Evan Haddock.
The third distinguished graduate is...
From the 450th Intelligence Squadron, Staff Sergeant Andrea Winklereed.
The fourth distinguished graduate is...
From the 86th Communications Squadron, Senior Airman Brandon Bedford.
The fifth distinguished graduate is...
From the 721st Aircraft Maintenance Squadron, Senior Airman Alexander Delgado.
The sixth distinguished graduate is...
From the 86th Communications Squadron, Staff Sergeant Patrick Laurencio.
The seventh distinguished graduate is... From the 450th Intelligence Squadron, Senior Airman John Catlin III. The 8th distinguished graduate is... From the 435th Air Ground Operations Wing, Senior Airman Kelsey Smith. The final distinguished graduate is... From the 86th Operations Support Squadron, Senior Airman James Potters. Today's final award is the John L. Levito Award. This award is named in honor of the lowest ranking airman in history to receive the Medal of Honor and is the highest level of recognition in enlisted professional military education. The student who receives this award is the most distinguished graduate who clearly excelled in all areas of leadership, performance, and academic evaluations. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ramstein Airman Leadership School is extremely proud to present the John L. Levito Honor Graduate for Class 2021-4
from the 86th Airlift Wing Command Post, Staff Sergeant Charity Chavez.
Congratulations to all of our award recipients. And now it is with great pleasure that I introduce the commander of the 86th Airlift Wing, Brigadier General Joshua Olson, and the 86th Airlift Wing Command Chief, Hope Skibitsky, for closing remarks for our graduates.
Congratulations. Chief Skibitsky and I couldn't be prouder of you. ALS is an incredible accomplishment both personally and professionally. As you go back to your work centers, I'd offer you one thing. Continue to mentor, coach, and lead. Be demanding customers of the 86th Airlift Wing in all of your areas. Continue to connect with your airmen. But at the end of the day, the most important thing to remember is to lead them well.
Well said, sir. Congratulations. The boss and I are super proud of you. We look forward to seeing you get out there and lead. We know that there's no manual for leadership. Trust me, I've looked for it. But just hope that we at least gave you enough information to get your foot through the door. Don't see yourselves as leaders of airmen. See yourselves as leaders. Continue to both mentor and lead, not just your subordinates, but your leaders as well. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you, General Olson and Command Chief Skibitsky. This concludes our virtual ceremony. From the team at Ramstein Airman Leadership School, please take care of yourselves and one another as you lead the next generation of airmen and guardians. Thank you everyone for viewing and have an amazing day.